Okay.
Yeah. So, thank you.
Very good.
Yeah. Good.
That's okay. Big difference between the House and the Senate.
Which is good.
I'd like to welcome everyone else tonight to this Kershaw County Council meeting, July 22. We've been called to order. We'll excuse Mr. Russell Brazel tonight, the vice chair. He's got an important family matter going on, and our prayers go out to him. We've been called to order. First item on the agenda is the invocation and then Pledge of Allegiance. I'll go ahead and lead us in both of those. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful for our many blessings. We pray for the Brazel family at this time. Please comfort them. We're thankful for all that Thou hast done for us. We pray for Thy Spirit. Please guide us in our decision-making tonight. Please bless our country. Please bless the world. Bless our state and this great county. We pray for wisdom as we make decisions tonight. Please help us be fair and judicious and respectful of the taxpayer in all things. Please help us find the right result and deliberate in all matters. We pray for those who are on the agenda tonight that have a role, that they might be guided and directed as they speak. We pray for safety and protection for our families and others, and say this in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is adoption of the agenda. I just would like to welcome back those who have been here and yonder on travels with family vacation. Welcome back, Mr. Shoemake, Mr. Jones, and others with travel. Do we have a motion on the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Mr. Tucker has the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Cato has a second. Any discussion, Mr. Tucker?
No, sir.
If there's no other discussion, no other motions, we'll move to a vote. All in favor on the agenda for approval? Ms. Hannah, it's unanimous by those who were present and voting. Next item on the agenda, item 5A, proclamations honoring the life of William Gainwell, Bill Major Jr., placed on the agenda by Councilman Jones. Mr. Jones, is there a motion?
Yes, I so move, Mr. Chairman. We present this proclamation tonight.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Tucker has a second.
Mr. Chair, I'd like it if you would present this, please, as the Chair of County Council.
Yes, sir. I'll go ahead and read the proclamation, and then we'll await your commentary. Proclamation in memory and recognition of William Gainwell Bill Major Jr. Whereas our lives are full of special moments and wonderful memories when a loved one is lost, sharing those moments and memories through a tribute that beautifully memorializes a life saved and lived provides family and friends with the opportunity to reflect and remember. And whereas, known to many as a civic icon to Kershaw County, William Gainwell Bill Major Jr. was a member of most of Camden's civic organizations. He was a life member of the VFW, the Camden Shrine Club, the Kershaw Lodge of Ancient Freemasons, and a SC Hall of Fame bowler. And whereas, since moving to Camden as a youth in 1935, Mr. Major was the first Boy Scout in Kershaw County to be awarded the rank of Eagle Scout, salutatorian of his class at Camden High School in 1940, first sports reporter for the Bulldog, later named the Palmetto Leaf, staff artist for the Gold and Black Yearbook of 1940, and captured the 1939 and 1940 SC State High School Doubles Tennis Championship. And whereas, after completing high school, Mr. Major attended Wofford College and Furman University and entered the military service in 1943 as a second lieutenant in the Army Air Corps. He was one of a handful of triple-rated Navigator bombardiers and a pilot in the 20th Air Force. With great success in his military career, after retiring from the military and returning home in 1949 with a Distinguished Flying Cross, a Bronze Star, and 2 Purple Hearts, he started a 38-year career in banking and retired from banking and served 20 years as a crossing guard at Roscoe's Corner. And whereas, called into active military service during the Korean conflict, Captain Major served as Captain Major and the commanding officer of Company B, the 713th Gun Battalion of Camden's National Guard Unit. And whereas William Gamewell Bill Major, Jr. served and lived a well-honored life, leaving a legacy of memories for his family and generations to come. Now, therefore, be it known that Kershaw County Council honors the memory of William Gamewell Bill Major, Jr. for all of the great success he shared in Kershaw County and serving our country. Signed this date. Mr. Jones.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much, and thank you for presenting that as well, too. I just want to say that there's not much more I can say because there's no words about it. This man is one of our local heroes. We have many of them, but he was one of our local heroes. His son has been involved in many, many things throughout our county as well, and I'm just honored here tonight to be able to put this on the floor for this family. And before we end, I'd like to ask his son to come up and say a few words after y'all finish as well, too.
Any further comments? Thank you so much, Mr. Jones. You said you had some family members here, including his son?
The microphone. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You may not need it, but we
No, I don't need a microphone.
talk in it for the folks.
Everybody knows me. Sometimes I speak, my mother comes out.
Please do talk into the mic. You got some people watching you remotely who won't be able to hear you.
Hello. Hello. Okay, to all you people listening out there.
Yes, sir.
My name is William Rusty Major, and I'm honored to be here tonight and thrilled that the county council recognized Dad. Dad was the real deal. I thank Jimmy Jones for pushing this forward. Dad touched a lot of people, a lot of lives, and he left a lot of footprints in Kershaw County, big footprints, and I haven't come close to filling a half of one yet. But I just want to say this. I want to thank you again on behalf of my sisters, Sandra Reeves and Gloria Boone, and I accept this award on his behalf, on his behalf as his only son. And if I am remembered for anything in Camden, for half of what Dad did in his life, I'll be a pretty good man because he was a great man. Thank you very much.
Yes, he
God bless
was.
you all.
Well said. I feel the same way about my dad. We have a proclamation here. If you want to come up,
Yes.
we'll take a picture. We'll present that to you. Mr. Jones, if you would step up.
Mr. Jones?
Often this is a foregone conclusion, but all in favor, raise your hand. Ms. Hannah, I saw you were about to slap my wrist over there.
I just do them anyway. All right, hold up. All right, 1, 2, 3, and 4 and a half.
God, that would have been bad, wouldn't it?
All right, gentlemen, that brings us to the next item on the agenda, public comments. Mr. DeBose?
We have 7 speakers tonight. First speaker, Henry Gustafson on Civics Education Workshop.
Ms. Penry, please.
Good evening. It's been a while.
Welcome.
I'm here to spread good news. I'm Henry Gustafson. I'm a former senator for this area, and I continue to be engaged and love where we live, and I continue to support and encourage good civil engagement which seems to be continuing to be a challenge for so many people. I am part of a committee, I'm leading a committee that has developed a civics education workshop for Kershaw County, specifically designed for Kershaw County and for the residents of Kershaw County. Each of you have received a letter, so I know y'all already know that, and you have the press release in front of you. But we are going to be, we have several people on our committee here tonight, including Sissy Griffin-Ballou and Elisa McKim and I, and there are 3 others on that committee from 3 different organizations. And elected officials actually came to us and asked us to do something. Help teach the public and help get them more engaged on what's happening in Kershaw County and how to best foster civil discourse and education and just knowing how our government works and how to best contact our officials and how to do public speaking and who does what in Kershaw County. I know there were a number of times in my time at the State House where I would get many, many, many calls of things that really were y'all, it was on you. And I'm sure y'all get calls that maybe you should go to a different area in Kershaw County. So I think it would be really good if people really understand who does what and understand how to build those relationships with our officials in a very effective way. We're also going to be teaching about, we've met with the Director of Voter Registration, Miko Reddick, and they have really improved some things upon our voter registration. We're going to be doing a section about what is their number one issue, which includes people updating their addresses. So that kind of tends to, make problematic timing. If you're going to vote and you haven't done that, it takes time. They have to call the DMV, blah, blah, blah. Also, for poll workers, we need about 100 more poll workers in Kershaw County. So we're going to help them with that. We're also going to address misconceptions and address what is good and what's happening. There are lots of pockets across the United States where there are issues with our voting, issues with corruption. And I can tell you very personally, with firsthand knowledge, without exception, Kershaw County is right on point. We are doing great in these areas. We follow the laws, we follow the rules. And we're going to be, like I said, that's going to be part of it. We're also going to be talking about the role of the election board. Who are they? What do they do? Well, they have to certify the results, right? They're the ones who do it. So all these things being said, it's a 2-part workshop. That's how it's structured. And it's going to be presented twice to the community over 3 different dates. And part 1 is going to be offered on its own. Part 2 is going to be offered on its own. And on a Saturday, you can get part 1 and part 2. This is Ms. McKim. Mrs. McKim is going to explain more about the details about how to do it and how to get involved and all the registration and everything else. But learning critically, engaging civilly, and just having better civic education locally, we are just thrilled to be able to present this at no cost to the public or to you. And we hope each of you will be able to attend at least one, even you, Ms. Parler, everybody here, attend at least one of these workshops. Okay, you're not required to, but certainly we would love to have you there. We're not going to ask you to do anything, okay, unless you want to, but that's another story for another day. I do thank you for your time, your work on Kershaw County Council. If this goes well, we will have a part 2. That's why it's called 1.0. We might have a workshop 2.0 next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Benry. Mr. DeBose.
Next speaker is Linda Canitzer, temporary moratorium.
Ms. Knatzer. Yes, ma'am.
Pay attention, Sammy.
I'm always paying attention there, Mr. Jones.
Chairman Connell,
If you didn't have
Council
such a,
members.
if you didn't have such a long name, it wouldn't take me so long to write it down. Go ahead.
But you weren't the only one.
Go ahead.
This is going to be short. Kershaw County residents have spoken with overwhelming support for the proposed temporary moratorium on the large subdivisions, as have most of the county council. We look forward to the passage of this important ordinance tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for coming out tonight. Mr. DeBose,
Next speaker is Lynn Conto, moratorium and impact fees.
Ms. Conto.
My name's Lynn Conto. I'm 1265 Sanders Creek Road. And first, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for riding this out. It's taken a long time us to get here, and people are counting on you to make the decision for this third reading of the ordinance for the moratorium, which will help us prepare a comprehensive plan and a capital improvement plan for Kershaw County. And also, when you vote on the ordinance for the impact fees for large developments, your residents are counting on you for this. And I want you to think about what you talked about at the last meeting. For those of you who are here, you recognized Mel Pearson's family. And you brought up all the things that Mel Pearson had done and he had gotten done. And it was kind of a miracle how much he had gotten done. And I thought about that and how he might have gone about doing that. And one of the things he was able to do was to get people to trust him. People trusted he was going to do the right thing for the city of Camden and Kershaw County. I know people trusted you. They voted for you as council members to make decisions to help Kershaw County. And this is one big decision, a really big decision that'll be heard about across the state. So I want to thank you in advance for making the decision to vote on the ordinance for a temporary moratorium and voting for impact fees for Kershaw County, because this is going to help our residents and prevent them from being taxed in the future and help for improvements in Kershaw County. Thank you for your time. And I know you don't get a lot of thank yous, but I do appreciate what you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Conto. Mr. DeBose.
Next speaker is Elisa McKim, Civics Workshop.
Ms. McKim, please.
Hello, Kershaw County Council. Thank you so much for everything that you do. My name is Elisa McKim. I am a Lugoff resident. I live in Pepperidge, and I am the Lugoff 4 Executive Committeeman. And I'm here on behalf of the Steeplechase Republican Women. And as Penry was saying, we have kind of a coalition of not just women's group, but our Kershaw County GOP. We are planning this Civics 101 workshop. And I want to make sure that we're clear, too, it is nonpartisan. It is not about Republicans, Democrats. It's for everyone. It's for the whole community, because there's a lot of citizens and even people that are engaged in politics that really don't understand who to go to, like who you're going to call when you have an issue with this thing. Or, and I know you guys get those calls, and it's not in your wheelhouse. So don't know how to go about engaging civilly, especially. So we'd like to reach across the aisle to the Democrats as well, and we want to make sure that this is branded as even though we're Republican women and the GOP are helping to present this, it is a nonpartisan event. So it affects everybody, all citizens. Move this just a little bit. So the things that we'll be talking about are basically just the core function of the local government, best practices for communication. I know that you guys get some heat up here. So it'd be nice if people would treat you guys respectfully, because you deserve that. So anyway, we'd like to help people with that. And then, as Penry was saying about voter registration information, as a poll manager, I can say it is a mess on election day when people don't have their stuff in order, and it really is. I'm glad to see that that's a new addition. So the dates that we're talking about, and a lot more too, but I'll keep it short. The dates that we're planning for the first one is August 11th, and I have flyers for all of you. that I'll leave with you that also have a barcode on it. And the barcode is for, it's $0. It's free. But if you come to the door and you haven't registered in advance so we can get a head count, it'll be $5 at the door if you haven't registered in advance. That's just for our planning purposes. So I'll leave you guys with each one of these, and then I have some to also pass out as well. But the dates are August 11th at 6 p.m., and that's at the American Legion. On August 25th is part 2 at 6:30 at Proctor Hall. And then that's for the second part, and then part 1 and 2 combined is a Saturday, September 27th, and that will be at 9:30 in the morning at Bethune Elementary. And so they've been kind enough to, hopefully we'll have a great turnout. And we hope that we can have you, or all of you, or some of you join us for that. So thank you so much, and for all of you do, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. McKim. Mr. Bose.
Next speaker is George Pullen, I believe. Last name's hard to read, ordinance.
That's it.
Mr. Pullen, please.
George Pullen. The last county council meeting we had, I stood up here and spoke a little bit about the zoning ordinance and how unclear the writing was and what was really going to happen. I think a lot of you agreed on that. That's the reason why it was deferred to today. I understand there's a little more clarity, but I think there's still a lot of wording that needs to be detail-oriented in reference to where these event centers that somebody might want to put up, whether it be a soccer field, baseball field, a wedding event center, or whatever it may be. I think starting going into, we need to keep the rural areas of the county rural. I think a lot of the folks that live in the rural areas, they don't want these event centers in next to their houses that have been in the family for decades. And I think that limiting these event centers to commercial areas, I understand the thing about the bed and breakfast and all that. And I think that limiting these event centers or these venues to commercial areas only, and if somebody has a farm that they want to have a wedding at, then that farm or the person having the wedding should have to apply for some sort of permit or exemption. And if they get caught doing it without it, then they get fined. But I think right now, Mr. Jones spoke about this in the last county council meeting, is it creates a lot more for a department that can't handle what they have to do now. There's who's going to enforce these ordinances? People are still going to have weddings on farms, and there's nobody to enforce or regulate this, and it's going to continue to happen. Having the ordinance there helps, but I think who's going to enforce it at this point? I'm going to give you a situation that I know personally, and I spoke about this I think the last time, is that there is a family area over in Elgin, in the county part of Elgin, that was passed down back in 1921 to the kids and then their kids. Well, one of the family members had sold off just under 5 acres to an individual who went to planning and said, I'm going to use it for agricultural purposes, and specifically from the planning department, they told me that he was going to use it to have donkeys and some livestock. Fine. He didn't do that. He clear-cut the property, put in a soccer field, built buildings, never got permits, never went to planning, and this is the type of thing that the ordinance needs to clarify, what is going on. Now, this is back at the end of November, beginning of December of last year. Here we are 8 months later, nothing. No cease and desist, nothing's happened. I've talked with the sheriff the last time he was here. He sent his, because there's a bar, they're cooking food. They have a full commercial type building built on this property, and it was never zoned or even got permission to be built. They're not using any septic, they're using porta-johns and whatnot. Trash is now finding its way into the woods. There's hundreds of people down there. They're having organized events. And under the rule, the RD2, what's not allowed under 711 is spectator sports or for spectator events. As far as I'm concerned, soccer games where there's, hundreds of people down there with referees and a bar and food, they're down there spectating, and that should not be allowed. That property a cease and desist should have been sent a long time ago. Under 73 or 71-394, it's also not allowed. So, but there's another section that contradicts this. So there's contradictions to these in the same codes. So it says you can have these type of events as long as they're not commercial. But this one here says you can't have spectator sports. As far as I'm concerned, somebody going down there, hundreds of people, 67 cars parked all around these soccer fields. So the sheriff actually emailed me back about this, and he had a couple of his deputies go down, and they've notified ATF about the alcohol sales. But again, here it is 8 months later, and I have heard nothing back from planning about what's happened with this, and they're still holding events down there. And this is 1090A Cherokee Boulevard, 1090A Cherokee Boulevard in Elgin section of Kershaw County. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Mr. DeBose.
Next speaker, I believe it's Andrea King. First name's difficult.
Ms. King? Oh, okay. Bypassing that one.
All right. Next speaker is Brenda, and the last name is not quite legible to me.
Branham?
Yeah.
Ms. Branham, please.
Thank you all for having this meeting today, and I would just like to ditto what,
Yes, ma'am. If you could speak into the mic just so everybody can hear you. Thank you.
I would like to just ditto what George got through saying. I live at 1028 Cherokee Boulevard, and I can attest to this. People need to be aware that we live out in a rural area, farms out there. I have a farm. Goat Daddy has his place less than a quarter of a mile from my house. And he was beside himself when all this has been going on. The noise, the PA systems, the whole things. If this ordinance is changed where this can go on, we will never have peace and quiet in our neighborhoods again. So I hope that you will consider all of this and at least do something for the rural areas. We do have much better deputy service out of our area now, but it used to be that we would call, and it may take an hour, because I live on the Richland-Kershaw County line. It's not any fun waiting for a law. And the deputy said, when all of this was taking place, he went down in there and he said there was over 200 people in this place. The PA system had the trees swinging, and the music was unreal. And everybody was upset. I'm sure they got quite a few calls that night. That one particular night, it's never been that loud again, but it is still there. And like George said, this is less than 5 acres of land. And they have moved in there and put all of this in there. And when you look through there, there's probably not more than 2 porta potties that I can see out there in that area. And if you got 200 people piled in there, this is what we could be looking at if this ordinance is allowed to go through, is just to get rid of the bed and breakfast. We need to consider the rural areas as well as the commercial areas. And this might be good for a commercial area to get rid of the bed and breakfast, but we need to take everybody into consideration. Our tax money goes in there as well. So I hope you will pay attention to that when you consider this, and think of us, because we've been there a long time. And I understand what's going on. A lot of older people are dying. The kids are selling out the land. We've got housing developments moving in all around us. And with Scout coming in, it's only going to get worse. That's another thing. So please keep us in mind when you consider this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Branham.
No further speakers, Mr. Chair.
No further speakers. Thank you, everyone who came out tonight. That concludes public comments. Next item on the agenda, gentlemen, is item number 7A. It's a public hearing regarding amending the ZLDR and definition of minor subdivisions. I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Mr. DeBose, do we have anyone signed up for the public hearing regarding 7A?
No, Mr. Chair.
Seeing no one signed up, is there anyone present who wants to speak on item 7A, definition of minor subdivision? Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. That takes us to item 8A on the agenda, approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from July the 8th.
Mr. Cato has the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Thompson has a second. Any discussion, Mr. Cato? Seeing none and seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Chairman?
Mr. Tucker?
I will be abstaining from my absence, please.
We'll note that for the record. Any further discussion?
I'll be abstaining.
Mr. Jones abstaining as well. We still have a quorum present and 4 able to vote, so we're good. All in favor of approving the minutes with 2 abstentions, please note those. Ms. Hannah, all in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous for those who are present and voting and not abstaining, Ms. Hannah. All right, gentlemen, this takes us to item number 9A. This is a first reading under ordinances relating to minor subdivisions. Before we get a motion, Mr. Administrator, any background or context we need?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do we have a motion on 9A?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right. It's on the table. Mr. Shoemake.
Yes, so what this amendment does is it redefines the definition of major subdivision and minor subdivision so that effectively anything above 5 lots is considered a major subdivision. Currently, under our ordinances, it's 10 or more and is considered a major subdivision, and this brings that number down. And the reason for that is major subdivisions have a whole separate set of rules they have to follow that minor subdivisions do not. It's much easier to build a minor subdivision. And if we look at the historical pattern in this county, you don't see a whole lot of minor subdivisions that are really between sort of 5, 6, and 7. It tends to be these 2 groups, these small little 2, 3 subdivisions that are really just sort of family type land or, truly small subdivisions, or these sort of 8 or 9 unit deals that really kind of come close to skirting the edge. They're usually bigger developers, bigger kind of developments. And so this kind of keeps it puts the definition in keeping with what the reality of the situation is, which is this ordinance is designed to protect people who are doing very small, limited development from overburdensome regulations. So by moving this number, it allows us more flexibility. When we start doing moratoriums and other things as we go into ZLDR and we start looking at large-scale changes, it changes the definition of major subdivisions so we can more appropriately address those subdivisions that are creating problems.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemake. Mr. Thomason, you have the second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with Mr. Shoemake on this. I think we're in a situation right now where we have we do have the large developments, but there's a lot of the smaller ones that are coming to our county here. And if we look at it, it's a smaller strain, but it's still a strain on our infrastructure. If we continue to grow and do that, this is going to be a great thing to be implemented in Kershaw County because it's going to provide more assets and not going to put the bill on the back of the taxpayer for people coming to Kershaw County. I'm in support of this tonight. I'd be happy to have more than one as a major subdivision. But I'm happy with more than 5. So,
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I initially brought the moratorium before county councils a few meetings ago, and it was, I did it at the request of the planning commission, and the planning commission, they identified the problem areas as major subdivisions. They said, Jimmy, we're not having any problem with minor subdivisions, we're having problems with major subdivisions. So, of course, then there was an amendment made, and it passed, and we are where we are now. And I have supported it up to this point to try to massage it and see if we couldn't compromise and get to some kind of agreement. But I'm having problems creating more legislature, more, I don't want to say bureaucracy, but basically it is, that this really hasn't been identified as the problem. And I just feel like that major subdivisions, I wish we were sticking to that. But obviously, this is where we're at, so we'll be taking a vote tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Jones, thank you. Any further comment or discussion? Again, we're on first reading. Seeing no further comment or discussion, we'll move it to a vote. On the Shoemake motion, all in favor, raise your hand. It's Shoemake Connell, Cato, and Tomlinson in favor. All opposed? Tucker and Jones opposed, for the record. Ms. Hannah. Passes on first reading. That takes us to item number 9B. Any context or background we need, Mr. Administrator?
No, sir, just continuing with the efforts to add Creed Solar into this MKIP or Multi-County Industrial Park.
Oh, we're on 9B, sorry, not 9C.
Oh, I'm sorry.
9B.
So this one here is coming back up. This item came up earlier. Council asked that we go back and offer some more information to individual council members so they can be a little more indexed in. And so this is this item coming back up for y'all. I have staff here to answer any questions.
Thanks, Mr. Temple. I know everybody's been working on it. Do we have a motion on item number 9B?
I'll go ahead and make a motion for first reading only.
Motion for first reading.
Second.
Is there a second? Mr. Tucker has a second. Mr. Shoemaker, you had the first.
Yeah, so I think, Mr. Poulin and I believe it was Ms. Branham that spoke, I think made some really great points. And I think just from my conversations with my colleagues and listening up here when we deferred this, I think we all have some hesitancy about doing this. But I do think it's fair. I did want to make one point of clarification because when we had the meeting last, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, whenever we deferred this, we had Joey from Planning and Zoning up here, and there was a lot of questions put to Joey about why this was even done or written. And I personally, was it
4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago? So 4 weeks ago. And I want to do something you don't hear a lot from a politician, but apologize for what I think is a pretty big mistake, at least that I'll own up to. On December 10th of last year, this council actually directed Planning and Zoning to write this amendment. I pulled the minutes because I thought I remembered that, but I wasn't sure, so I don't want to say anything then. But I pulled the minutes, and a council member made the motion. It was seconded. This council unanimously, with everyone present, passed it, and specifically made a motion for the Planning and Zoning to write a venue code for RD1, RD2, and MRD to propose zoning requirements for an event venue. So there was questions when Joey got up here about why did this happen, where did this come from? And, Joey, I think rightly, just kind of deferred because he's not here to try to get political or throw anyone under the bus. But the reality is this is here because we asked for it with a unanimous vote and directed Planning and Zoning to do it. So however we vote is how we vote, gentlemen. That's fine. But I do personally want to apologize to Planning and Zoning and Joey for making it sound as if we were curious how this came from, when the reality is we asked for this and we unanimously said we wanted it. So I'm going to vote for it for first reading for that reason, so that we can examine whether this makes sense. And if it doesn't, that's fine. We can vote it down on second or third reading. I do think Mr. Poulin and Ms. Branham made some great points that we need to consider. But that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemaker. Mr. Tucker, you have the second?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Shoemaker, for standing up and correcting the thoughts and the actions that really took place here on council. I also would say, George, I've been knowing you for a while. I hear your plight. I understand you and Ms. Branham's concerns. I will support it tonight, but I do think this needs to be massaged as well. But I want my colleagues and the public to know, too, that without this, we're asking Planning and Zoning in some degree to put a square peg into a round hole when these things come up. So we've got to find a way to make it easier on Planning and Zoning to enforce and be able to approve when it is right to approve, and deny when it's right to deny, but at the same time, be able to give people their privacy. I've lived in the rural part of Kershaw County most of my adult life, and I enjoy that for a reason, because of the quietness, the owls, the chickens, all that good stuff that happens at night or early in the morning. So let's continue to have conversation, and let's figure out what would be best practice moving forward, if this will work. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Tucker.
Oh, go ahead.
I yield.
Mr. Jones, he yields. Go ahead, sir.
Y'all probably want to hear from me first anyway. What I got to say. There are laws on books called disturbing the peace. And Mr. Cato, I know you know that, and I know our lawyers know that up here. this is not the answer. What the gentleman George got up here and talked about, this is not the answer to it. You know, I tell you what, all of you who may have a birthday party in your front yard or get married on your front porch like I did, I'm having the government telling me I can't have a wedding, my wedding on a front porch or my front porch. Well, if we pass this, I wouldn't be able to have had my wedding without permission from the government on my front porch. I'm sorry, this is overreach. And who was unanimous? Did I vote for that?
You were the second, and you
Well,
voted
then
for
I was,
it.
wait a minute, then I was drunk. Okay?
Like a sailor, right?
Yeah, because I don't vote for it tonight. And I'm not ashamed that I've been called out voting for it back then. But as I said, I don't really drink, but I must have known something. Jesus, and he's great. But anyway, I'm voting against it tonight because I don't think it's right. I've been to parties, to some of the folks out here have had in their yard, just celebrating the birth of their child or celebrating some significant event or just wanting to get together. And I'm going to tell all of you out here, now we're going to have to get permission. And yet all these questions that we have can't be answered. And folks, I'm going to ask you to really think about this. We can't even enforce the laws we've got now. And I'm going to tell you something. These inspectors can come, they come in here, they write you up, then they go back to their county where they live, and you paid a bill. I didn't mean to get loud. I've been working on that. That upsets me. We got more outside agencies or contracts with people coming in here doing our work in Kershaw County, not from Kershaw County, but they're firms or businesses from outside Kershaw County. We have contracted with them. They're coming in here, and in some ways, to me, it feels like they go through this county like a Gestapo. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I don't appreciate it. And that's not the work for me on county council that I want to see. I don't want to see the citizens treated like that. We've got to have regulations. We've got to have laws. But I've got one I'm going to talk about, which is pertaining to all this, that I got here, that a friend of mine got in the mail with a 20-year-old subdivision. He's being told he'll be fined if the retention pond isn't fixed. Well, we haven't done it. We have a responsibility with retention ponds. We haven't taken care of our business. So we're going to hold somebody 20 years. They're not even, the company's dissolved. It's not even they're not even doing business now. They don't exist. Folks, we just need to slow down on creating the bureaucracy. And the other night, 4 weeks ago, whatever it was, we couldn't even get our questions answered. There was confusion with staff. I'm not apologizing to anybody. I apologize to the public. Okay, our employees get a good salary. We got a lot of $100,000 a year employees too. They get a good salary, they get good benefits, and some people are being laid off. So I think our employees have it pretty doggone good. Who I care about is the citizens of Kershaw County. And I was told, and I've been told this many, many times, oh, please be careful, don't mention my name, because they'll come out and they'll take it out on me. Let me hear of one government official taking it out on somebody, a citizen. Call me. I promise you we'll stop that ASAP. You will not be threatened by any department or talked to disrespectfully. Now, I don't think you should be talking disrespectfully to the staff either. But bottom line is, I've had point after point made to me, the rudeness and the ugliness that was shown to them by some of our folks who, once again, I think if you take a poll, how many people is going out inspecting live in our county, you'd find not very many live in our county. But they're going to come in here and regulate you. Okay, I'll be voting against this even if I did second it a year ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Cato.
I don't necessarily agree with everything you said, Mr. Jones. From what I hear from Mr. Poulin, I have to say that it seems that what we have now is not working. Because if it was working, we wouldn't have the problem over there that we have. So in order to solve the problem that we have, we got to change something. Now, is this whole ordinance what we need to change? I don't think so. I'm not in love with everything that's in this ordinance. But I do believe that there needs to be some changes. I do believe we've sat up here, most of us have sat up here and talked about property rights by owners. If I own a barn and enough acreage of land that I can have a wedding out there for my daughter or son, I need to be able to do that. I need to be able to do what I want to do on my property as long as it's within the bounds of the law. But this ordinance and I'm going to support this on the first reading tonight, only because I don't want it to die, and I want to see some corrections that we can all come together and agree on. Because something needs to be done, because what's going on now is not working, and that's evident by what we heard tonight. So we've got to do something to change things, and it's not creating more bureaucracy. It is trying to make things better for the citizens of Kershaw County and for the people. Listen, nobody lives in any further rural area than I do. I'm 9 miles to the nearest Dollar General. I bet there's nobody else in here that lives 9 miles from a Dollar General.
Who measures that?
I did.
Bermuda Triangle.
This afternoon.
So if there's anybody in here can speak about rule, I guarantee you it's me. I love the whippoorwills. But we do need to find a fix and common ground to this, and just killing it and kicking it out is not going to do any good. So I'm going to pass it on first reading, and I hope that somewhere down the line we can find a solution to everything that fits the needs of everybody.
Mr. Cato from the Bermuda Triangle of Kershaw County, thank you so much.
The northern part of the county.
Any
Mr.
other
Chairman.
comments or discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Thomas.
I just wanted some clarification. Mr. DeBose, so within this ordinance, would it prevent, so on my farm in Antioch, would it prevent me, my family, or any of my extended family or guests to have a wedding on my property?
No, the ordinance is intended to regulate accessory uses put on these properties that are rented to individuals.
So for-profit entities?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So it wouldn't prevent an individual
No.
property owner from having a wedding or hosting a party or allowing somebody else to utilize their property?
Correct. Within the definition sections, again, it's all focused on rentals to people for private social events such as weddings, receptions, banquets, meetings, or other gatherings. But it doesn't prohibit people from using their property privately for private events that aren't, it's not a rental situation with Joe Smith from down the road.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate my colleagues. I asked last meeting to push this back so we could get kind of more time to really dive into this. And I don't think this is a perfect ordinance. This is something that's a sticky situation. But going back to Antioch, even though it is zoned general development, so out of all the RD2 in Antioch, there's one little circle that's general development. And it has a rodeo, a community center, and everything. And that is a staple, a highlight piece for Antioch. All of my family, friends, every single person from Antioch goes there when the rodeo's there. It's a great event. I don't think that needs to be everywhere at all. So this could be something we may need to look at tailoring. I will support this tonight on first reading because we do have 2 additional readings going forward, and we can push it back and really get into the nitty-gritty. But I appreciate all of staff's hard work and Mr. Joey with planning and zoning and all his hard work putting this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. And Mr. Jones, any
Yes,
further
thank you.
discussion?
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I mean, we say, okay, it's a private event, but if I'm paying a wedding planner to come out there and do my wedding, I'm paying fees. I mean, and I know we may say, oh, that's not what, listen, let me tell you, once we pass this, it'll be interpreted by the enforcement. And because there's a lot of services that we rented and we paid for, and to have our event. And it was a beautiful wedding, and I'm glad I did it 28 years ago. But I just, guys, Mr. Cato, you're right, something needs to be done. But I just think that we have laws on the books right now disturbing the peace and some other things that the sheriff can go out there and they can enforce. We're creating more bureaucracy that we don't have the staff to enforce what we have on the books now, but yet we're going to throw more out there. It just makes no sense to me. I'd like to see this table tonight and for us to have a workshop on it instead of rushing it through first, second, and third reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Templer, yes.
if I may, I think there's some blurred lines here in what the spirit of this is versus some of the concerns in the community and just.
Could you speak in mic? I can't hear you, Mr. Timber.
There are some concerns here that I think there are stemmed from some blurred lines. What the spirit of this is, what we're trying to do is to allow staff to make more concise decisions, and when it comes to certain events that people want to have or facilities on their property. We have one in question now where somebody has purchased a property and they want to have an event space there. It's in a rural area, but now what they have to do is identify as a bed and breakfast. That is far from what they want to do. So now they're having to go through these hoops if they want to utilize their personal property and create a living quarters to just to force fit this their desire or their desired use into what we have, which is an antiquated ordinance. The types of uses in today's hospitality-driven society are markedly different. We have Airbnbs now. Strangers come and stay in your home. We are just trying to get a few more tools in our toolbox to allow staff to make decisions where people want to and have an absolute right to use their personal property. These are commercial-driven event venues. This makes me not have any concern about if I want to have some people over to my house for 4th of July that someone's going to come over there and write me a ticket. There are spaces in this county that just by default, sports events are allowed. If someone has 5 acres and they want to take up a game of soccer and it's an appropriate facility, nothing wrong with that. So there are some questions. Joey is here if there are any deeper questions. If you want to move on, that's fine. If any dialogue is needed,
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. I just had a few comments in wrapping up. There's no further discussion. So I think the council's been relatively deliberate on it so far by delaying it already to ask more questions. I think there's a lot more work to be done. I'll support it on first reading tonight. What I hear from staff and folks in the community is you need to have better enforcement mechanisms because it's not working now, or there need to be greater penalties for folks who are violating. A penalty that you pay attention to. A penalty that you won't pay attention to is not a penalty. And so I think there's that, and it's first reading. And so, you've got at least another month and a half or more, depending on what happens in the future, to see where this goes. But we've got a request and plea from staff to give them better opportunities to address these kind of concerns in the community. And then you have other properties, some of which I think are grandfathered already, but if someone stopped operating them in that way as an event space, then that could go away, and you might lose some of the great spaces that you have in Kershaw County unless you have provision in the code to allow for it. So more research to be done, I think more work to be done, and I look forward to digging into it and see if this is something that works. Any further discussion, comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your hand. On first reading, it's Shoemake, Tucker, Connell, Cato, Tomlinson in favor. All opposed? Mr. Jones opposed. Passes on first reading. That takes us to item number 9C. Mr. Administrator, any background or context we need before we move, seek a motion?
Just very brief, sir. This is an opportunity for us to potentially assist the town of Elgin with some of their planning and zoning responsibilities as they find themselves in a deficit for people to do that type of work. Their inspector has left, so this would be a mechanism to allow us to step in and assist.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. Council, is there a motion?
Yes, sir, I make a motion that we read this in title only for intergovernmental agreement with the town of Elgin, please.
Mr. Tucker has the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Schumake has a second. Mr. Tucker.
I think the administrator said it all, and I'm thankful that we're moving in that direction to help one of our municipalities here in our county, so thank you.
And just to further explain, the town of Elgin is engaging with an outside contractor, and this is in case something were to go wrong or they just don't meet their agreements. This allows us to move forward with 3 readings and a public hearing to allow us to interface with them and take over. They have some projects that are underway that we don't want to see languish.
Mr. Schumake, you have the second.
No, I know that the mayor reached out to Mr. Templar, and I appreciate him being so responsive. No comments other than that.
I'll just mention that town of Elgin has been doing some good work over there. They did have their planner pass away. Randy, his last name escapes me, outstanding guy. He passed away, though, a few years ago. And then they transitioned to this service, and now they've just found themselves in a spot. And so I think if we consider 90 days of assisting them, if needed, even if it's needed, that could be very helpful. Any other discussion, comments, questions?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, to Mr. Administrator, also remind them about some possible assistance from the COG.
Those conversations may have taken place while I was out, so, but if there's anything you have that you may know of, I'm not.
I didn't realize all this because I've been kind of been underneath a rock the last 3 weeks.
Yes.
But I will contact Dennis tomorrow and make sure he reaches out to the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Mr. Jones?
Thank you. Mr. Templar, will the inspector, our inspectors be inspecting their laws through the 90 days or ours, or will ours carry through to the town?
This would be the legal mechanism for us to be able to enforce theirs, so just like in law enforcement where you have a mutual aid component.
Same thing.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
That does clear that up for me. And this is 90 days only. You know, I've never gotten any complaints from people with overburdenedness when it comes to planning and zoning or it comes to inspections in the town of Elgin. So they must be doing something right. I will support this tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Tucker?
So Councilman Jones brings up a good point here. Is 90 days is going to be enough? You mentioned some things that could go awry, like who they choose may not be a good fit, may have problems choosing someone. There's several things. Is that going to be enough time, or do we need to amend the days and more like 180 days, 6 months? I'm just speaking because that'll take them out to the new year.
So, and that's a great question, and what we're trying to do is balance our workload with their needs. I don't want to put a sword above their head, but I'm trying to create a set of bookends that we operate within. And, but I will say, having conversations with Mayor Emmons, she is meeting with Safe Build. That's a pretty solid company. We have used them in the past as a stopgap for us, so. And I've even provided her with another organization. So, but my understanding is there is a meeting Thursday, and so we will know more.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Mr. Jones?
Mr. Tucker, I'm looking forward to seeing how well it's going to work out with the Elgin folks, with our inspectors, the next 3 months. Because I get sick and tired of the complaints.
Well, gentlemen, just for context, I think the idea is we have another 2 readings. That gives the town ample time to figure out if there's a contractual partner they can have to do this work. And in the meantime, it gives us the flexibility to amend on 2nd or 3rd reading to address if there's a longer-term need. Keep in mind, we're bumping up against the comprehensive plan being completed and jumping into the ZLDR rewrite with council taking on the workload. And so I think in conversations with staff, the 90-day mark was one that looked tolerable without hiring anybody else.
Right. Correct.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Ms. Hannah, it passes unanimously for those who are present and voting. That was 9C. Mr. Templer, now we're on 9D. This is the Joint Industrial and Business Park. Any background or update we need before we move to a motion?
Just deja vu, just getting Creed Solar into the Lee County MKIP, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion, gentlemen?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Shoemake has the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Tomlinson. Mr. Shoemake, any commentary?
Nope.
Mr. Tomlinson? Any other discussion? I think we talked about it last time. All in favor of
Can you-
9D on second reading?
Can you just give some clarification?
Mr. Jones?
Give some clarification.
Sure. The administrator just took us through that this is Creed Solar and doing the joint industrial park that's required typically by state law for economic development incentives and assets.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, seeing none on 9D, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand on second reading. Ms. Hannah, it's unanimously in favor by those who are present and voting on second reading 9D. All right, 9E. This is a third reading related to the 1.76 acres that Kershaw County has proposed to sell and the related contract. We've talked about it in depth. Any other update we need, Mr. Templer, before we move to a motion?
No, sir.
Okay, do we have a motion on third reading on 9E?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion. We approve.
All right, we've got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Tucker has the second.
I'd like to make an amendment.
Mr. Tucker, you have a motion for amendment?
Yes, sir.
All right. What's your motion to amend?
I'd like to make a motion to amend the purchase and sales agreement that is an exhibit to the ordinance if the proposal realign format include in the agenda packet. Mr. DeBose can go into further if needed.
Mr. DeBose?
I'll
any-
second.
We've got a second on that. Mr.
So-
DeBose, any explanation?
Correct. Council discussed a desire to deed restrict this property such that American Battlefield Trust, not that they would do this, turns around, sells it to, Shell Oil a year from now, and a gas station's at that corner. The American Battlefield Trust receives grant funding for these purchases, and their properties are always very restricted from that standpoint, because the grant funds are going to preserving these historic sites or purchasing property that serves an ancillary purpose to these historic sites. So that money has strings attached. The county also wanted strings attached to the conveyance. Those are now reflected in the purchase and sale agreement, have been discussed with American Battlefield Trust, and the restrictions will square with their grant restrictions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. DeBose. Any other comments, questions? All right. Seeing none, thank you for working on this now that we're at third reading. I remember bringing up, could this be flipped and what restrictions do we have in place? And between the grant or the language now that we're looking at on third reading, I think the county's interests will be protected. All right, seeing no further discussion, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor on third reading, raise your hand. Ms. Hannah, it's unanimous. Passes on third reading. Those who are present and voting. That's 9E, as amended, correct?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And at this point, we're going to vote on it as amended. So we have the motion that passed. All in favor on voting as amended, raise your hand. And it passes unanimously as amended. All right, gentlemen, that takes us to number 9F on the agenda. Mr. Administrator, any updates or context we need before we seek a motion?
No, sir, just third reading, and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. This is third reading in relation to impact fees being assessed in Kershaw County. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Shoemake, do we have a second? Mr. Tucker has a second. Mr. Shoemake.
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment to make.
All right. What's your motion?
I move to amend Kershaw County Capital Improvements Plan to allocate the first target year for implementation of eligible parks and recreation projects in the fiscal year 26-27 rather than fiscal year 25-26, so that the total expenditures for all projects during fiscal year 25-26 will be zero, and the total expenditures for the following projects will be allocated as follows. A total expenditure of $91,163 for Woodward Field Airport expansion, fiscal year 26-27. Total expenditure of $100,313 for the Bethune-Copeland Park expansion in fiscal year 26-27. A total expenditure of $104,326 for the Boyd Young Park expansion in fiscal year 26-27. And $376,704 in fiscal year 27 and 28. A total expenditure of $122,050 for the Elgin Community Park expansion, fiscal year 26-27. And that is my amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion to amend. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Shoemake has a second. Mr. Tomlinson or Mr. Shoemake, anything else?
Yeah, just kind of for the motion, the legal has advised that the expenditures appropriated for the fiscal year are to be included in the county's annual budget ordinance. This budget was adopted prior to the impact fees, and the fiscal year has already begun. So it's just kind of pushing it back, so that way we don't have to reopen the budget, which will be a process where we have to go back through 3 readings, and I don't think anybody in the audience or anybody up here wants to do that. So this just pushes it back, so we can talk about that the next year.
Yeah, no need to reopen the budget or the millage after
Yep.
we've just gotten through it and did all the work. Mr. Shoemake, anything? You had the second?
I would just note that all these are expenditures that come from the impact fee. These are not new, these are expenditures based from the impact fee. And as we discussed before, the impact fee is fairly limited on what it can be used for. It can only be used for things that specifically tie into growth. And we're not going to see a huge windfall from this particular impact fee because we're also doing it in conjunction with it appears to be a moratorium. So that's why these are the projects that were selected, because they had to be projects that could be done relatively inexpensively. Part of the impact fee process for those in the public is a full project has to be funded and completed. So you can't just sort of put money in an account and just hold it for a while. You've got to complete these projects on a relatively tight time frame of about 36 months. So that is why these projects specifically were listed, and that is also why the amounts are small, because we're going to shut growth down, and so the only growth that's possible for at least the next moratorium period are those that are already approved and not actually pulled a permit on.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemake. Mr. Tucker?
I ditto on what Mr. Shoemake was just saying. I wanted to make sure everyone had a clear understanding on that, on how the moratorium may affect this. The good part about it that I really do support is that we'll be able to collect and we can actually see what that looks like before we go spending, and then we end up having to pull funds from the general fund to finish or complete a project. So this will give us a good look, and then by we start planning next year for the 26-27 budget, the moratorium will have been lifted, and we should be in good shape. So with those things happening, I think that this is the best way to move forward with our impact fees.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Mr. Cato?
I guess this, just for clarification purposes, maybe a legal question. These expenditures that are listed, they can be changed or amended in a future time as long as it fits within the,
Yeah, it's correct. So you have a shot clock on these fees, and they're tied to specific projects and expenditures, but the Enabling Act, State Legislative Enabling Act for impact fees requires that council, through staff essentially, report each year on collections, allocations, and appropriations of these impact fees. So there's a yearly report that's generated. Typically, that's tied into the budget process and timed with the fiscal year budgeting process, so those rates of collection can be reviewed, and these projects that are funded either wholly or partially by impact fees, the funding stream can be adjusted for them so that they get accomplished in time and the impact fees don't have to be refunded. This amendment, not only with the appropriations portion, aids in that there is a little more runway on the rate of collection, what that looks like, and by next budget year, the impacts of the moratorium can maybe be projected if that moratorium passes later tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Cato. Any further comments, discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
If I may. As usual, I've been very polite and quiet, sitting over here waiting, just listening to everybody else. How much is the total on all these projects we're talking about?
You mean the total impact
Yeah,
fee?
the total on the recreational projects that Mr. Thomason was talking about, the 100,000 here, the 200,000 there. What's the total amount?
So you got, what, 100?
400,000?
No, yeah, 1, 2, 3, about a little over 400,000,
I was thinking
450,000.
close to 500.
Yeah,
No, it's on the bottom end of 4.
Yeah, it's about 425 or so.
Yeah, it's on
Okay,
the bottom
so
end.
close to 500,000.
Okay.
We're doing this so we don't have to reopen the budget, because it should have been part of the budget.
Well, this couldn't be part of the last fiscal year budget because the fees weren't enacted.
Right.
So they didn't exist to appropriate. The issue is the budget's now passed, the fees look like they will be enacted and imposed, and they can certainly be collected and not expended. But with expenditures in this fiscal year, the options for council would be to, if the funds needed to be spent this year, reopen the budget for a supplemental appropriation. And again, that's a involved process. Given that there's these are finite projects, staff and legal consulted.
Give an explanation on finance projects.
Yeah, shifting everything out a year essentially keeps the budget from having to be opened, and again, provides more historic data to finance and admin about rate of collection and what money's actually on hand.
And it gives us the opportunity to go ahead and try to complete some projects.
Yeah, I mean, these, whatever project,
It sounds like they kind of hold us to the wire to complete a project when the
Yes.
money's coming from
Yes.
that source, which would be something great for us, because government normally doesn't complete projects.
correct, yeah. And again, the state legislature, when they put this development impact fee structure in place, again, did see fit that there be a lot of robust reporting and transparency by way of this annual report on collections, allocations, and appropriations for impact fees.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Tucker?
Mr. Jones, I stand corrected, 794,556.
700,000.
Yeah, almost 800,000.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the initial estimate was for next fiscal year, and then the additional amount is for 2 fiscal years from now.
But without the moratorium, we were projected to do a little over $1 million on impact fees, so we're
What
still
other-
being very conservative.
One other point for council that I will note, thus far as this ordinance has been progressing, it has had an effective date of blank 2025 inserted in the ordinance. You know, it's certainly council's discretion as a policymaking board to have the ordinance be effective immediately or 30 days from now or whatever y'all see fit. But I do note that there is a blank for the effective day of the ordinance. So would solicit that from council as to when council would want these, this fee structure to be in place.
You need a motion for that, then?
have a
I would
question.
make a motion to amend it and to say the effective date is immediately.
All right, is there a second on the motion?
I'm a second his motion, but I have a question.
Mr. Tucker has a second. Further discussion, Mr. Tucker?
Mr. Templar, can you guys be prepared to receive this immediately? Or do you need time?
Yeah, I prefer it be immediately.
Okay, done.
All right, so at this moment,
I
we're on the
have a question.
Shoemake, at this moment, we're on the Shoemake amendment, and then we'll get to the Thomason amendment. Mr. Jones, any further, do you have your hand?
Yes, I have a question, mainly just for the administrator and legal maybe. So we've got recreation projects listed with this fee. What projects can we do with this fee? I know we don't have to do recreation, there are other projects we can do, and as long as we complete them and do them in a whole, not leave half undone, correct?
So these fees are current,
I can take that as
yeah.
the administrator. I think he asked me.
Well, no, I asked either one of you.
Okay.
After you speak, wait a minute, after you speak, I want his legal opinion.
Sure. I plan to put this money into recreation, and I also, more importantly, plan to put this money into solid waste. We are busting at the seams with garbage from growth, and I think this is the most appropriate mechanism to handle that. We have, so expansion is a key word, so unfortunately we can't replace, but we have to expand. Elgin Convenience Center is in dire need of improvements and expansion. Obviously, that's because we are growing most, so I'm excited to have a funding stream to be able to handle that.
Okay, and thank you, because that hadn't been mentioned, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Let me ask you this, and you're right, our recycling centers are really getting in bad shape, and they need, so why are we putting so much into recreation when we've got so much that needs to be done at our recycling centers? And I know you're not going to have enough to complete the recycling centers.
Sure, well, with recreation, there are more reasonable projects that we can get to, or realistic projects, because we're only acquiring X amount of dollars, and we have to be realistic and intentional on the projects we set out. And recreation, there's a lot of opportunities to, again, take this funding from growth and enhance our recreation experience. So you could add things inside of a park, another amenity.
What about public works? Can this money, these fees be used for public works?
So with public works, it's got to be expansion. We can't offset costs, which I wish we would be having probably a different conversation, but we have to expand. So again, going back to the Elgin Convenience Center, so we would add more compactors, we would increase the footprint of that facility, which it needs, paving, because we've increased the footprint of that area. And these two areas allow us to use these funds that will be taken in countywide to be able to put that money back into the county countywide.
$790,000. Danny, tell me how much of that is going to be for the recycling centers and how much is that going to be for the recreation?
Well, the items laid out in the amendment are, back to that, it's.
And I want the county attorney to be prepared to answer my question about can we use that money to complete or to take care of projects in, in some subdivisions
So
where stormwater is concerned.
again, the recreation components, those are items that we can quickly fund and quickly complete. The solid waste components are going to take more time, so this is just what we have identified right now. But we clearly will have projects for solid waste. That money just goes quicker with solid waste because of the costs are so high. $790,000 sounds like a lot of money, and it is to any individual, but when we look at these projects and the costs, we move the needle, but we just want to make the most of our enhancements and the most of this money as we can. Now, that money slows down a little bit when it comes to these projects with solid waste because the projects are bigger and more costly. So we have to be very intentional to not step into something we don't have the shoes for when it comes to the money. If we have a project and we're too aggressive and we have that 3-year timeline, if we fail to meet the completion date or we know we're failing to meet the completion date, that's going to grenade my capital budget at the end of a year because we're going to have to cover that cost. So there's a level of confidence in these recreation components, and there's a necessary degree of strategy needed in the more expensive projects. So
you've done a great job explaining why we're going to do the recreation projects. I appreciate it, and I do appreciate you bringing up the solid waste. And I'll give y'all my reason for asking that in a second. Mr. Attorney, can we use some of that money on the impact fee for subdivisions with their drainage?
So the impact fees that are imposed for Parks and Rec, you impose impact fees for discrete government service areas, fire, EMS, Parks and Rec. They're all in boxes.
Public Works?
the money that comes into the box for Public Works or Parks and Rec,
You never mentioned Public Works, though.
yeah, has to stay in there. For Public Works, the fee category is municipal facilities and equipment. There are some restrictions on impact fee expenditures. It has to be qualifying. So essentially, it has to be a capital expenditure greater than $100,000 for a piece of equipment. That would hamstring the ability to use the funds for other things. You can use impact fees for doing engineering studies and clearing and site prep for facility sites, because that's part of the general capital improvement, the structure that's being put on the property.
Can you go in and create drainage where there's been no drainage in a subdivision?
If you were entering private property to spend money for the benefit
No,
of private
it's
individuals.
it's our roads, our responsibility.
So I don't know that road improvements are typically handled with impact fees. They're generally so expensive that local governments turn to capital project sales tax if they have major road improvement projects.
I'm speaking specifically about the pecan orchard, a project like that.
Drainage is not a qualifying expense. Stormwater,
So stormwater will not meet it.
no, sir. No, sir.
Mr. Jones, Mr. DeBose, if I could, just for context, so where this started was, we had to do an impact fee study statutorily, it's required, before you can even assess one. And so the statute, after you do the study, comes up with a formula that says what you can actually assess for an impact fee, and then within the study, it says the areas that might qualify. And based on the study and the information we got back, it says recreation would qualify, and solid waste, or some of the equipment that you mentioned, Mr. DeBose. And as I understand it, the recreation projects that were mentioned, being conservative under this first attempt at an impact fee, are low-hanging fruit that we can actually afford and know that we can get done in the timeline that's required, so there's no clawback and we get penalized. I'm sure there will be solid waste projects. I use the Elgin Convenience Center. It is in dire need of improvements. But some of those improvements, I think, will be so expensive that the expansions and what you'll need to do might take 2 years, or you might need to put it out for procurement to figure out what the actual bid will be. We already had bid-related information for these projects, correct?
Yes, we
Yes, okay.
source this stuff.
So these were the easiest things to fund that we're guaranteed we could do in Kershaw County, because we already had bid-related information, which we don't have for some of the solid waste or other items in the county, correct?
Correct, and there's the level of confidence with these projects is extremely high.
Yeah, I mean, we, no pun intended, because this is recreation, but we can hit the ball out of the park, you believe, on this one, on these recommendations, because we already have the bid info, we're not going to be delayed on procurement, and we know we can pay for them with the funds that we conservatively will believe will come in. Okay,
Correct.
I just wanted to share the context of
Yes,
where we
yes.
came to where we've been. I wish sometimes that we could pick and choose the area in which we might spend these fees, but it's all governed by state law. And in some ways, I wish the impact fee could be a little bit higher, but it is what it is based on the formula that Mr. DeBose has explained to me in detail before.
And if I may, just to share on the solid waste struggles over in the Westwater area, it's been my vision for years to have what I call a laydown area over somewhere located over there on an appropriate sized parcel to keep yard debris out of our convenience centers. It's just the most inefficient load to haul. We're just hauling leaves and branches. So to have the ability for a laydown area where citizens can go over on the other side of the bridge and drop off yard debris, and it is ground up on that site. So those are true expansions, just tangible improvements that people can see as a result of growth. But they're, we're I won't say capitalizing on it, but we're just using that revenue stream to make these expansions. So
I get it. All right, if there's no further discussion, I'm ready to call the question on the two amendments that we have.
Mr. Chairman, just for reference,
Go ahead.
In the ordinance, Section 6, dash 261, limitations on expenditures of funds collected, it has line items right there, what can and can be used for the expenditures of impact fees. So it's highlighted within the ordinance, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Tomlinson. All right, so we've got two amendments in front of us. First one, as we layer them, is the Shoemake Amendment on timing related to immediacy. No further discussion on that one. We'll move it to a vote in favor of making it immediate upon passage. All in favor? That is Shoemake, Tucker, Connell, Cato, Tomlinson. In favor, all opposed? Mr. Jones opposed. For the record, Ms. Hannah. All right, that takes care of the Shoemake amendment. It passes. That takes us to the Tomlinson motion and amendment. Any further discussion on that one before I call the vote? Let's move it to a vote on the Tomlinson amendment as previously stated. All in favor, raise your hand. That is Shoemake, Tucker, Connell, Cato, Tomlinson. In favor, Ms. Hannah. All opposed? Mr. Jones opposed. The Tomlinson amendment passes. That brings us to 9E on third reading as amended, 9F on third reading as amended. No further discussion? We'll move it to a vote as amended. All in favor, raise your hand. That's Shoemake, Tucker, Connell, Tomlinson, Cato. In favor, Ms. Hannah. All opposed? Mr. Jones opposed. It passes on third reading. Ms. Hannah, for the record. All right, gentlemen, that takes us to number 9G. This is third reading regarding the temporary moratorium. Mr. Administrator, any context or background we need before we take up a potential motion?
No, sir, just third reading for anything greater than one residential lot.
All right, gentlemen, do we have a motion on 9G?
I make a motion that we approve on third reading the impact fees.
No, we just passed
sorry.
impact fees. That we're on 9G, the temporary moratorium.
I'll make a motion that we
no,
do
no.
that we enact a moratorium.
Mr.
I'll
Shoemake
second.
has the motion.
Persuade you,
Mr.
Sam.
Tomlinson has the second. Mr. Shoemake, you had the first.
I do, and I'd actually like to make an amendment.
All right, what's your motion to amend?
Yeah, I had to write it down here because it's
Second that.
kind of lengthy, Brant. So, and I'll explain it if I get a second. I move that we amend the moratorium ordinance to reflect the changes that have been distributed via red line to the clerk of council for inclusion in the meeting minutes and to my fellow members of council. These amendments broadly change the time of the moratorium from 180 days to 255 days, reflecting a 75-day increase to enable time to accomplish certain tasks. And they apply the moratorium to more than 5 lots, which comports with our new definition of major subdivision. And for purpose of the record, I want to highlight some of the specifics, not every single one because it's a long amendment, but highlight some of the specifics. The title would be amended to read, an ordinance establishing a temporary moratorium on the acceptance and processing of applications for subdivision approvals of greater than 5 residential lots within the unincorporated areas of Kershaw County. Section G will now read that there is an immediate need to review Article 5 of the ZLDR and possible amendments to Article 5 of the ZLDR. Current Section H would be deleted. Section K would be renumbered to Section J, and it would be amended to read as follows: that Kershaw County Council finds that the impact and strain of residential developments on county resources is not unique to major subdivisions. That term has been previously defined, and that the cumulative impact of subdivision projects of greater than 5 lots is similar to major subdivisions, as that term has been previously defined, and that a moratorium should be imposed on residential subdivisions seeking to create greater than 5 lots. This is in keeping with Kershaw County's current efforts to redefine major subdivisions to mean a subdivision project greater than 5 lots. Current Section M, which would be renumbered Section L, will add the following language: Kershaw County Council further finds that an additional 75 days would give appropriate time to study these issues, given the scope of review and the fact that the comprehensive plan is still with the Planning Commission. It will increase the moratorium from 180 to 255 days. Title of Section 2 would be changed so that greater than 1 additional lot is changed to greater than 5 additional lots, and the 180 would be amended to 255. And the text of Section 3 will be changed so that exceeds 2 lots is changed to exceeds 5 lots. And again, to recap, the gravamen of these amendments is the moratorium goes from 180 days to 255 days, and that more than 1 lot becomes more than 5 lots. And that is my amendment.
You heard
Thank you, Mr. Shoemake.
Second.
All right, you got a second from Mr. Tomlinson?
Mr. Jones had a question.
Well, that's
So-
your motion.
No, I didn't. That
And you
says
have a
he's a good
second. Do you have any
attorney.
further comment?
Yeah, so I just kind of to explain a little bit. So, the Planning Commission initially said just major subdivisions, which was more than 10. And as I mentioned, we've had very few subdivisions of less than 5 lots that are more than just sort of families building a little, family area or, a group of close friends building together. And so by you're not adding any major development by saying the moratorium applies to anything more than 5 lots. So if this passes as amended, anything more than 5 lots is subject to the moratorium. We're seeing very few things of 5 lots and under that are just not people building on family land, that sort of thing. In terms of the time frame is expanded because the Planning Commission just passed the comprehensive plan. However, that means that it goes to the contracting group that we've hired. That contracting group has to review it. It has to go back to planning for sort of, final touches and then come to us. It is highly likely we don't see the comprehensive plan in front of us until at least September. So that's 60 days that we're just waiting because we can't do anything with the ZLDR without a comp plan. So I added 75 to account for those 60 days with a slight buffer. And that would give us, in theory, we'd get the comprehensive plan, have it voted on, at least first reading, and then still have 6 months to make some strides toward what we need to do. So that is the reasoning for the specific amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemake. Any further discussion?
And Mr. Chairman, I'll just add, looking at the AOD that we just got done a couple months back, we did the 6-month moratorium on that, and all of the hard work that staff did, time and efforts at community meetings, putting the ordinance together, along with other following documentation, took over the 6-month period. This is countywide, so that extension is going to be critical to be able to provide more time so we can make sure that we get this right.
Thank you, Mr. Tomlinson. Any further discussion, comments, questions?
I would like to note that while sometimes our lawyers help us, I wrote all that by myself.
Okay.
Sound like it.
Quit showing off. there, Mr.
Any other comments, concerns, discussions? I can support this amendment tonight, and in part, the reason is I want it to be some balance there with individual property rights. One of the deletions was an overlay district study that, one, we didn't have funded, and two, from all reports, I understood it would take 12 to 18 months to conduct properly. And so, one, we hadn't funded it, so we'd have to open up the budget, and we just talked about how complicated that process is and how long it takes. You'd have to go through procurement to pay for it. And so I view this as getting through a moratorium and addressing the growth concerns that we have, but also not making it go long unnecessarily and getting people back to what they want to do with their property. Mr. Jones,
I have an amendment.
what's your motion?
Okay. My amendment is that we go back to my original motion. Major subdivisions only, no minor subdivisions, because they're not the problem. We change nothing, we leave it as is. Major subdivisions was 10 or more. And I said all that by myself. Just keep it simple. 10 or more, where we are with major subdivisions, 10 or more. And the moratorium also, oh, I forgot, very important, 6 months, not 7 or 8 months, 6 months.
Just for clarity.
Please don't tell me you didn't understand what I said.
I understood what you said. Just for clarity, are you making a motion on a matter on which you were not on the prevailing side previously?
I was on the prevailing side. I'm the first one who brought it up.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You were not on the prevailing side the first time.
I just want to make sure.
But did you realize that?
Yeah.
That you weren't on the prevailing side?
I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, I am on the prevailing side.
Okay, is there a second for Mr. Jones' motion?
I did that by myself, guys.
There is no second.
Thank you.
Okay, so that takes us back to the current amendment that's on the table by Mr. Shoemake. Any further discussion, questions?
And just to clarify, Mr. Jones, we've already had first reading on a text amendment to the ordinance to reclassify what a major subdivision is, right? So that would be a conflict. It's already been first reading that has been redefined of 5 or more than 5 homes is what a major subdivision is in Kershaw County unless it fails.
Well, it's not going to change the vote. I mean,
It's moot because there's no second. All right, so that puts us on the Shoemake amendment.
quit showing off.
Seeing no other comments or questions, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand on the Shoemake amendment. That is Shoemake, Connell, Cato, Tomlinson in favor. All those opposed on the Shoemake amendment? That is Tucker and Jones opposed. That brings us back to 9G as amended. Any further comments or discussion? Seeing none, we'll move it to vote on third reading as amended. All in favor, raise your hand. That is Connell, Shoemake, Cato, and Tomlinson. In favor, all opposed? Opposed is Mr. Tucker and Mr. Jones. For the record, Ms. Hannah. It passes on third reading. All right, thank you, gentlemen. That brings us to item number 10A. Mr. Administrator.
Mr. Chairman, what you have before you is a resolution that would authorize us to enter into a lease purchase for a fire apparatus.
Okay, do we have a motion on 10A?
Make a motion that we approve the purchase of the fire
Mr.
apparatus.
Mr. Administrator, can you, too much chatter.
Let's let, a few folks want to clear out, let's let them clear out if they'd like, so that we can conduct the business of the county. Can you hear Mr. Jones? You good? All right.
I'll second Mr. Tucker's motion.
All right, Mr. Tucker has the motion. Mr. Thompson has the second. Mr. Tucker, you want to take it, or?
You can go to the administrator.
Let's go to the administrator.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, you may remember a while back, we had an opportunity to take advantage of some fire apparatus that were over in Sumter at an upfitter that a company in North Carolina had.
Mr. Administrator, let me just pause you, please. I know it's an issue of great interest. If there's any interviews or anything being conducted, please conduct them outside the chamber. Thank you so much. Mr. Administrator, please continue.
Thank you for being the chairman,
Yes, sir.
sir.
So an entity up in North Carolina had ordered X amount of fire apparatus, but their funding fell through, so we were able to take advantage of what I would kind of call a flash sale, but these are brand-new vehicles. We were able to, apparatus, this concerns just one tonight, but this was a great opportunity to save money and have these vehicles on the ground ahead of what is probably about a 3-year.
We're talking about a bright, shiny fire truck?
Yes,
Acquisition?
brand new.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Has that new fire truck smell.
What kind of discount are we looking at?
These are, it's probably about little over $200,000. So they were close to a 7-figure piece of equipment, but it was markedly reduced. So, and then with buying two, we were able to take advantage of a little bit more. So great opportunity. This doesn't come along often, and with the threats of tariffs and things like that, this is just a no-brainer. But this is ultimately the financing piece that allows us to engage. We wouldn't have a payment for it until next year out of that budget. No prepayment penalty, so we are more than positioned financially to make this acquisition.
Thank you, Mr. Timler. Mr. Tucker, you still have the floor.
Thank you. And Mr. Templer, this will be coming out of our fire budget to make this payment, am I correct?
Correct.
And it's budgeted for this year and
Yes.
moving forward the next 4 years.
And I'd just like to thank Chief Glover and Chief Bullard to, that they've obtained another fire apparatus through the COGS, through a CDBG grant. That this is just good leadership down there and looking for opportunities to get the best bang out of our buck. So my hat's off to them. Amazing job.
Thank you, Danny. Any other comments or questions? You good, Mr. Tucker?
No, just said thank you.
Okay. Seeing none, we'll move it to a vote. All in favor on 10A? Ms. Hannah, it's unanimous in favor for those who are present and voting. It passes. That takes us to 11A, Airport Hangar 2 and 3 roof repairs, placed on the agenda by the administrator. Mr. Temple, do you need a vote, or is this just for updates?
This would be a bid award.
Okay.
Yes, so a vote, yes.
Any summary before we move to a motion?
This just continues our work out there at the airport. This has been much needed for years, ever since I think I got over here 10 years ago. But continuing to repair the roofs over there so we can seal up some stuff and just maintenance, long overdue. So,
It's a problem when it's raining on the inside.
yes.
All right.
No, it's flooding on the inside.
Yeah. Any motion on 11A?
I'll make a motion that we approve the repairs on Airport Hangar 2 and 3 roofs.
Mr. Tucker has the motion. Is there a
Second.
second? Mr. Thompson has the second. Mr. Tucker?
Just thank you, Mr. Templer and staff for staying after this. Like you said, long overdue.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Mr. Thompson, you have the second.
Look forward to voting yes.
Any other comments or questions?
I'll just say that you'll notice there's just one price down here. Normally, we have a selection of, but this is a cooperative purchasing network that is in South Carolina, and it really streamlines things. This is probably the third or fourth time we've used this particular group. We were able to take advantage of some pricing over at the jail for a lot of those repairs. And this system vets the individuals doing the work, so they have to kind of show that they are worthy of these projects, so,
They have good history.
yes, and they're experienced.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Champlin. If there's no other comments or questions, I'll call it for a vote. On 11A, all in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous in favor by those who are present and voting on awarding this bid, Ms. Hannah. It passes. 12, council member briefings. Mr. Cato, would you mind starting?
Sure.
That was surprising.
That was a shock. No, very brief. I know tomorrow is Employee Appreciation Luncheon, and unfortunately, I have a conflict, a scheduling conflict tomorrow. But I just want to say, for any of the employees that's watching tonight or that's here, I just want to say how much I appreciate you. There's a lot of work and a lot of effort that goes into keeping Kershaw County running, and from all the departments, I think we take for granted sometimes exactly what our employees do and what they go through. So I want to thank them. We all make mistakes. We all have issues. It's going to continue to happen, not just in Kershaw County, but everywhere. You're going to have things that happen, things that's going to leave us a black eye. That's just the way it is. But for the most part, I think we have an outstanding group of employees, and I thank them for their service and for their hard work. Other than that, school will be starting back before our next meeting, so I wish all the teachers and all the students a safe start, and I hope that they have a great year. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Cato. Mr. Tomlinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to thank the Kershaw County Republican Women's Club and Kershaw County Republican Steeplechase Club for putting together the civic workshops coming up. I think this is a huge opportunity to be able to kind of bridge that gap for learning and kind of getting into the government process. Everybody gets their information off of Facebook these days, and everything is right that you read. So it's a good opportunity to be able to put together, and it's probably stuff that each one of us up here could learn. So I really appreciate them taking that initiative and doing that. And just wanted to mention that my thoughts and prayers are with Russell Brazel and his family at this time. And I really thank my colleagues up here and all the citizens who have provided so much input and work on these impact fees. And then the moratorium, kind of looking at how we can have responsible growth here in Kershaw County. This is a big step forward for Kershaw County. We still have a lot of work to do, but you're not going to get everything done in one day. So thank you all for all your hard work. I think it's a good day in Kershaw County here.
Thank you, Mr. Tomlinson. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the County Council. I'll be brief. One reason I have trouble spending a whole lot of money in other places is when we have an area such as the pecan orchard, where existing ditches have not been cleared, they have cleared out, causing further destruction due to the water having nowhere to go. No progress has been made to establish an easement for the pipe installed on 419 Blackberry. The pipe's fallout is causing property damage to 417 Blackberry. Mr. Dan Canty was notified about the main water line shut-off being exposed in the road on Crabapple Road on July 7th, 2025. Nothing has been done to correct this. If two cars need to pass at the same time, one of them will be forced to drive over it. Residents were told by an email from our administrator on 12/11/24 that he planned on requesting funding from the emergency source. It means starting this project early, and I want to thank him for that. And but we are now 1 year into this, and nothing has been done. And I think council's the holdback. Email updates aren't regularly being sent. In fact, they are only sent after residents make a stink or about it, or it's on social media, they tend to get an email, some kind of update. This problem only exists due to Kershaw County's, and I'm going to say it, our negligence. You know, these roads need to be maintained, and we would not be having this if they were. And we need to, yes, and I think we also need to spend the money properly when it comes to it. I realize that Ms. Templer didn't want to half do it and go out there with just half the money and do it. But we find money to do everything else we want to do. Why can't we find the money to do that? It's been said on this county council that, well, you know, if we do that, it's only X amount of number of people, but it's $1.2 million. That's too much money to spend for such little progress for such a small amount of people. Well, I put money before people. I mean, I put people before money and people before politics. And this is not political. This is a fact. I've been out there. These roads are horrible. You know, you got septic tanks over flooding, draining into other people's yards. You've got waters that look like ponds and that are being destroyed. And there's never been correction on this subdivision. But it needs to be done. And, oh, by the way, too, and I tried to call you earlier today, Mr. Tucker, and I know you've been very busy, but because you always call me, you really do promptly back. Even though a lot of people say you don't call them, you call me promptly back. But let me say this. Tonight is the 22nd, the meeting of 22nd, yes. And I thought that we had agreed that the Finance Committee was going to come back with a recommendation on the 22nd.
Can I respond to that, sir?
Yes, you can, if nobody did.
I was funeralizing my father.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so.
And you know what? I accept that.
Yes, sir.
But
So
could
the
we
meeting
have
was
it?
canceled.
Could we have it at the next meeting?
Yes, I'll go over that in my council briefing.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And so terribly sorry about your dad, and you know I feel that way.
Yes, sir.
And also, but guys, listen, Pecan Orchard is probably the worst when it comes to draining issues. And we have an obligation, and if it just helps one person, I mean, I don't care. I want to get it done. I want to do it. And I'd like to think that everybody up here feels the same way. And I want to thank you, Ms. Tucker, for saying that the Finance Committee, you'll bring something back at the next County Council meeting. And I also want to say that my heart thought, as well as with Mr. Tucker, also with Mr. Brazel, with his family issues tonight, as far as some sickness in his family. Yes. And prayers for all the families involved. And Mr. Chairman, thank you for the time and no interruptions, and I appreciate it. I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Shoemake.
Yeah, so I also want to join Councilman Cato in welcoming back. A lot of teachers are going to school really soon, I think in like the next 2 weeks. My wife was in her classroom today getting stuff ready. And also want to thank the people that also make the school run, the bus drivers, cafeteria staff, janitorial workers, the subs. It takes a pretty massive village. You know, one of the things, I know we don't run the schools, but obviously our school district is working hard, and I know they're talking about impact fees and other things. You know, it's not uncommon to see classrooms with 25, 26 very young children in them over the elementary schools. So we're growing, that's a fact. So congrats to all the teachers going back. And you know, one of the reasons we're growing is because our schools are so fantastic, especially compared to many of our neighbors. So congrats to all the teachers. Sammy, sorry about your dad, man. So he was awesome. So enjoyed going to celebrate his life with you. And obviously our prayers are with the Councilman Brazel dealing with the family situation now that couldn't make it at the meeting. You know, that's all I have. I have some thoughts on the Pecan Orchard thing, but I want to see what we hear at Finance Committee. But I think it's a complicated issue for a lot of reasons, but I don't really want to get into it now because I don't have all the data. We'll get more of that at the Finance meeting. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemake.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, want to say congratulations to all the employees of Kershaw County. You guys, ladies and gentlemen, are awesome. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make the luncheon either tomorrow, but please enjoy and keep up the good work. We try to fight and make sure that you're taken care of from this dais because we believe in you, and you should have those same feelings and more in believing in the job that you do for the citizens of Kershaw County. So I want to say thanks for the job well done and look for another prosperous and great year. The Finance Committee will be meeting on July 30th, which will be next Wednesday at 4 p.m. We do have a heavy agenda schedule. Pecan Orchards is on the top of that, along with stormwater presentation. So welcome you out if you're able to come or tune in. Mr. Jones, we have been talking and discussing, and it had not been for Dad passing away, we would have had that meeting. But I think
stand corrected on that. I apologize.
No, you're fine. I think that after this meeting on the 30th, we should have a better sense of direction, as Mr. Shoemaker said, Councilman Shoemaker said, and we'll be able to move forward. I can tell you that staff has been very, very helpful in identifying some fundings and trying different things. Once again, the last 3 weeks, I've probably been underneath for rock, so I'm a little bit out of touch. I'll get back in touch, and we will have a very productive meeting next week, I can assure you. To the Brazel family, my heart and prayers goes out to them. I pray that all is well and God will do what is best for all, and make whatever happens, and have the family to understand it. I also want to say thank you to all of you up on this dais, out in the audience, Administrator, Mr. Bowes, Ms. Hannah. When you do have tragedies and passing in your family, you really, really get to see who loves you and who picks up the phone, texts, or whatever it may be. It was amazing and very heartfelt when I looked up at Tuesday night and I saw all these faces floating around. Mr. Jones, I know you were out of town. Floating around into the church as we were doing the visitation and reflection. And I just want to say a genuine thank you from the Tucker family, because when you're down in need and you're grieving and you're going through things and a lot of different emotions and thoughts are running through your head, just like the Brazel family may be having tonight, it's good to have people you trust and love in your corner. So I can't say enough of thank yous. So with that, that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Well, I'll just say God rest the soul of Sammy Tucker Sr. Whenever we went over to that visitation, I couldn't tell if we walked into a stand-up comedy moment because everybody had jokes.
That's his life, man.
Yeah, your dad was larger than life, absolutely, and leaves a clear legacy. I even heard the younger generation talking about the lessons that they learned.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you.
God rest his soul, and obviously we love you.
Yes, sir. Love you too.
I happened to be with some friends last night having dinner, to the extent you're interested, and I said the prayer then too. Got voluntold to say the prayer, and as I ended the prayer, the lady sitting across from us, one of my friends, just had her head down as earnest as she could be, still looking down. She said, "Lord, please bless the teachers. Please, please." Yeah, and we all started eating, and I heard her. I said, "What do you?" She said, "I'm still praying for the teachers." She is one, right?
Right.
So yes, please bless the teachers as they're going back to school, and bless the students that they can have an outstanding year, as that's right around the corner. Sorry also that I can't make the employee luncheon tomorrow, but whether you're lucky or unlucky, I'm donating a smoked pork butt to somebody who wants to win. Whoever wins it at a mutually convenient time, I'll smoke a butt and drop it off at your house. Really appreciate the employees and everything they do, and thanks for putting the team together, Danny. And our hearts and prayers also go out to the Brazel family. I just want to echo that as well. Before we conduct any other business, let's pray for them, let's fast for them, let's try to strengthen them as we can.
Amen.
That concludes my report. Mr. Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of council. Sammy, on your father, I'm incredibly sorry, and I was never so proud to wear the name of the garbage man. Sammy told him, he's like, "You better watch, that's the administrator." So I don't care if that's the garbage man. So I've been the garbage man ever since, and I called him garbage. So we went back and forth.
Right.
He will be greatly missed.
Yes, sir.
And he made meetings fun. So, and I know he was smiling down, perhaps right before I went on vacation, I actually had the honor to work with our janitorial staff for most of the day, so I was truly the garbage man. I know most of the employees thought I was going crazy, but maybe so, but it's a humbling experience.
Yes.
And what that allowed me to do was see, regardless of what our employees do, whatever their tasking is, the degree of professionalism that we have throughout this organization. Bessie worked me. I had never sweat like that inside an air-conditioned building, other than being in the military. So she had me vacuuming, cleaning toilets, mopping. She even made me clean the vacuum cleaner filter out because it was Friday. So, but what an amazing experience. I was so inspired to, as the administrator, to watch the leader of our janitorial staff execute her jobs with so much professionalism and pride. I thought I was going to send a message, but you know what? I was the receiver of that message. I was like, I got to get better. Just an amazing experience. So I was honored to do that. Our employees are just at the center of my heart. Sam does an amazing job. Our inspectors are tasked with a unique position in where they do not wear a badge or a gun, and they are expected to enforce laws or whatever are on the books. We will always have opportunities to improve and do better, and I hear the words coming out of my mouth as I was humbled by our janitorial staff who just taught me lessons. But the fact that we have employees coming from out of town, to me, is a point of pride. They pass many viable opportunities along their way, employers, and they choose to work with us. So I am incredibly thankful for the talent we have, the improvements we've been able to make to staff, the professional acumen that we have brought to Kershaw County through these employees. And I think Sam is just a shining example. He's very knowledgeable. And one thing we don't see often is the emails that I get from all around the departments and from department heads, and I really encourage them to share them with me. But it's the feel-good stories that we get to experience, so I know that they're doing good things. I just know it. I see it, and I see the unsolicited feedback from the public for these individuals. And the one thing I'll always say about our employees is, they're citizens. They live in Kershaw County. They are taxpayers, they are veterans, they are professionals, they are mothers, fathers, they're just good people, and I have yet to work with finer people than the Kershaw County employees. And I'm honored to be the administrator for these men and women that come to Kershaw County every day to this facility and put in the effort they do. And I can't say enough about that. They inspire me. They make me want to do better. The word or the number 570 rings in my head to where I look at that and I was like, 570 people expecting me to be the leader of them, and they put the onus on me, and I make decisions based on that number, 570. Again, Bessie just showed me what integrity and just her version. It's just an amazing experience coming to work here every day. So, Sam, I appreciate you. I don't know if you're still here, but keep plugging away. We're doing good things, and I just will not take or miss an opportunity to brag on employees when I'll just end it there. So, Kershaw County employees, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator.
That's it.
Mr. DeBose, any legal briefing other than executive session items?
No, Mr. Chair.
All right, gentlemen, we have 2 executive session items, no votes anticipated. I think they're pretty brief updates. Do we have a motion to enter executive session on 15A and B?
Make a motion to enter an executive session on 15A and B, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second? Second. We've got a second, and again, these are all under SC Code 30-4-70A2, seeking legal advice. All in favor of any executive session, raise your hand. Ms. Hannah, it's unanimous for those who are present and voting with Mr. Jones having exited. We are in executive session.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We've got a second. All in favor of exiting executive session? Ms. Hannah, it's unanimous by those who are present and voting. Mr. Jones absent. That brings us to a motion to adjourn. Is there a
Motion
motion?
to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Tucker,
Second.
Mr. Tomlinson. No discussion. All in favor of adjournment? Raise your hand. It's unanimous by those who are present and voting. Ms. Hannah, thanks so much. We are adjourned.